Welcome back to Government Issue, and I'm Troy. In this particular video, I would like to discuss Tennessee recent gun law that recently passed, their permitless carry law, which has gone into effect. I have some choice words and some thoughts on it, but before I share that with you, let's check out this video.
Tomorrow, Tennessee's new permitless carry law goes into effect. Well, the measure will allow Tennesseans age 21 and up to either openly carry or conceal a handgun without a permit. Active duty military members age 18 and older will also be allowed to carry guns without permits when the new law goes into effect. But that's not all the new law does.
Is a piece of legislation that will actually strengthen penalties on those who commit crimes with handguns. It is a tough on crime, smart on crime piece of legislation that also protects the Second Amendment.
Knoxville police say there are other laws related to the permitless carry that also goes into effect, including theft of a firearm being considered a felony, and permits will still be required to carry at public parks and nature trails.
I'm a pro-gun guy, right? I'm a Second Amendment guy, and I'm all for, American citizens being able to exercise their Second Amendment rights. It's something that I promote here on my channel. It's a thing that I exercise in my real life. I carry a concealed, open carry as much as I can, whenever I want, right? And, I'm glad that we're getting to the point now where more citizens are utilizing, exercising that right. But I'm a big concern, right? And here are a bit of my concerns. So for one, 21 and up, you can open carry, right? Concealed or not concealed. And 18, if you're in the military, right? Of course, men and women, you can open carry or conceal. And I just think back to when I was 18 years old, and not to say that there aren't mature 18 years old young men and women, because they are out there, but I was a bit immature, right? In some facets of my life I was, but in other facets I was still watching cartoons and playing a bunch of video games. And if you're not growing up in a household that, promotes gun safety or have proper responsible gun culture taught to you, right, at a young age and throughout your life, this can be a double-edged sword, because while it may be your right to be able to carry a gun at that age, and the fact that you're not going to be required to have a permit, qualify, anything of that nature, I can see a lot of young men and women being very negligent with firearms, unfortunately. So I'm a bit concerned about that. Gun safety is very important. And I'm not even speaking about the criminals who already do, who are even younger than that are carrying and shooting and terrorizing their communities. I just hope that, those that are 18, that are, in the military, of course, they're obviously responsible. They're going to get the proper training. So I'm not too concerned about them. But I'm also concerned about the 21-year-olds, right? 21-year-old, now you're legally able to drink, things of that nature. I know when I turned 21, and again, I'm only using my experiences when I was that age. There were a lot of things that you weren't able to do, weren't able to buy cigarettes, you weren't able, and in my day and age, when I turned 21, it was a different time. It was a different generation. Turning 21 years old today, it's like a completely different world. So I can't even imagine, and the things that you're actually able to get into today at 21, it's a lot more hazardous, I think, than it was when I was turning 21. But yeah, that's one of the things that I'm a bit concerned about. Just the irresponsibility of young youth. But it's their Second Amendment right, so it shall not be infringed upon. Governor Bill Lee spoke on a legislation that was very important that he mentioned in the video, and the fact that they have legislation that's going to be tough on crime, and the fact that the legislation is specifically going to be tough on gun crimes. He mentioned that, If you're basically, you steal a firearm, it's a felony. Things of that nature. Gun crimes are, a lot more harsher. This is the kind of reform that I think is needed. You don't need to penalize law-abiding citizens like myself and you who, take the proper steps and measures to be able to exercise their Second Amendment rights. We're not the ones that are committing the crimes. It's the criminals. The criminals are the folks that are doing the mass shootings, that are executing people in broad daylight, who are gang banging and doing the drive-by shootings and the gang shootings. They need to face the brunt of this, right? They need to be at the ire of, all of the bills that need to be created, not denying citizens that are law-abiding citizens the right to be able to protect their homes, protect their loved ones, and to be able to carry firearms at the end of the day. I live in a state right now where we have a 10 round magazine capacity. And I think it's a joke because at the end of the day, the criminal is not going to abide by that 10 round magazine capacity. What they're going to do is they're going to illegally go to another state that allows people to buy 30 round mags and then come back to the state where they live and then do whatever crime they're going to do. And it's a shame. Take it for Chicago, right? They have some of the strictest gun laws in Chicago. And I've seen videos where these young guys are doing these shootings and they have extended clips, like 30 round clips, 50 round drums. Well, those are illegal in Chicago, but they still get them. But you put laws on the books that don't allow the purchase of them by law-abiding citizens, but the criminals are still getting them. So I think that the laws that are on the books, well, at least the legislation that's presented here for Tennessee residents, and the criminals, that they're going to have to deal with these laws if they break them, they're going to be shit out of luck at the end of the day. So I think, this is a good look. Like I said, I'm glad that there's going to be more constitutional states as we go, as the years go on, and when this regime gets out of office too. Once this regime gets out of office, hopefully we'll get more sanctuary states. Hopefully my state comes on board and becomes a sanctuary state, because I'm a neighbor, literally a neighbor to a sanctuary state. And I'm like, well, constitutional, what? Let's all be constitutional. Let's just make the United States a constitutional across the board. We don't need to, well, we want this state to be a constitutional carry state, but the one right next to it cannot be constitutional. Like, come on, let's stop with the rigmarole here. Let's stop playing these games here, right? It's like one state legalizes marijuana, but the state next to it doesn't legalize marijuana. Stop. At the end of the day, folks want to feel protected. Folks want to be able to buy guns. Allow them to. Make the crimes and the penalties harsher on the criminals when they commit them. I want the penalties to be as harsh as they can make them, right? You steal a gun, it's a felony. Great. You kill somebody with a gun that you didn't own, that you stole, life in prison. I know it sounds harsh, but I think it's a step in the right direction to give confidence to people, to understand that if you see a person like me, right, carrying a gun, open carry, think twice, and maybe think to yourself that maybe that man is carrying and he's exercising his Second Amendment right.